Welcome to lesson 72. We're going to learn how to solve one-step inequalities. I want you to look out for these three things while I'm modeling. Watch how I annotate the word problems, including inequalities, and how I represent the scenario in that number sentence. Also watch how we use all those EE skills, or how I use all the EE skills and inverse operations to solve a one-step inequality, and then look to see how I graph it and represent that solution set. After I do it, get some practice in so that you can also demonstrate mastery in today's skill. Let's solve this inequality and determine a solution set that represents the value. So I'm going to try and think of at least three values that would make it true. All right, so to solve, again, I want to isolate my variable. So in this case, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. That way I have a 0 pair. X is less than 3. So on my number line, I'm going to circle 3. And X are all the values to the left of 3. So all these numbers. Okay, so let's come up with a solution set. I'm going to use, as part of my solution set, 2.5, 0, and -5. Let's try those. So I go back to my original. X plus 2 is less than 5. 2.5 plus 2 is less than 5. Yeah, that's just 4.5. 4.5 is less than 5, so that is a part of my solution set. We'll use 0, x plus 2. So 0 plus 2 is less than 5, and yep, 2 is less than 5. And let's try -5. -5 plus 2 is less than 5. -5 plus 2 is -3, and -3 is less than 5. So our solution set, and the way I sometimes you'll see it drawn like this, like a real curvy thing, or you might see it in parentheses. So I will just use parentheses for now, but you can use this little curvy thing. So in my solution set, I have 2.5, 0, and -5. And all three values satisfy my inequality. And know that there are infinitely more because we have infinite numbers to the left of 3. Hit pause and jot this down in your notes. We have a challenge for this one, Math Marvels. Let's look at this scenario. We're going to solve inequalities to determine the set that represent all possible numbers for x, but notice here, look at how challenging the statement is. 15 times a number minus 3 is greater than or equal to 2. So how do we isolate that m? How do we get that m by itself? Let's see. So I have 15m minus 3, a number times 15, and then minus 3 is greater than or equal to 2. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to work backwards. And so if it's a number times 15, then subtract 3. I'm going to deal with this 3 first. We're going to add 3, and then we're going to deal with this 15, the times. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add 3 to both sides. And I want to do that because if I add 3 to a -3, I'm just getting 0. And I'm left with just 15 times the number. And on this side, I have 5. So now I want to just work on this statement. A number times 15 is greater than or equal to 5. So a number times 15, the opposite of that is to divide it by 15. And when I do that, I'm just left with that one number, because a number divided by itself just gives me 1. So now I have m is greater than or equal to 5 over 15. And I can simplify this. I can divide both of these by 5 and just get 1/3. So obviously this is challenging because I don't have a fraction here, but I know approximately where it would be. 1/3 is somewhere between 0 and 1. So somewhere between here and here. Notice I'm not putting it here. I'm putting it between 0 and 1 because it is less than 1, but greater than 0. So let's approximate it. This is about where 1/3 is. It's not perfect. And I'm saying that m is greater than this number. So I want all the numbers that are bigger. Every single number, whether it's a fraction or a whole number or not. I want all the numbers. And because it can be equal to 1/3, I'm going to fill in this part over here. All right, so this represents every single number. So I can have 1/3 as the solution and every single value that's greater than 1/3. So let's hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Let's create an inequality for this word problem. Casey is mowing lawns. He earns $15 an hour and needs at least $90. That, in other words, greater than or equal to $90. So whatever it is, it has to be greater than or equal to 90. So how many hours did he mow lawns? Let's express the solution. All right, so 15x has to be greater than or equal to 90. Actually, I'm going to write that on my equation line. And let's simplify that. Divide both sides by 15. And x is greater than or equal to 6. And I'm going to go to 6. It can be equal to 6 or more than 6. So that is my graph. That represents the scenario. So he has to mow at least for 6 hours. So at least 6 hours will give him $90. Anything more than 6 hours will give him more than $90. Let's go to the next one. A number divided by 2 is greater than 1. So again, this is just a one-stepper. How do I get the w by itself? What's the opposite of a number divided by 2? A number times 2. I'm going to do that to both sides. So I get 2w divided by 2, which was just going to give me w is greater than 2. So w is greater than 2. There's my solution. So okay, so I go to 2. I'm going to circle the 2. And I want w to be all the numbers greater than 2. Hit pause so you can jot this one down in your notes. Here's our last one. So let's read the problem to ourselves. Jan has 18 cards. Ray gives her C card. So 18 plus C. Jan now has less than 30 cards. Describe Jan's cards. Okay, so this is obviously an EE because it's an inequality. We know that Jan had 18 and we added C. And we know that now it is less than 30. So there's my inequality. 18 plus C is less than 30. So let's simplify this and find the solution. So 18 plus C is less than 30. Let's make this a zero pair by subtracting 18 on both sides. C is less than 12. So there's our inequality. C is less than 12. So let's see which matches, and I don't see C is less than 12, but I do see our original 18 plus C is less than 30. So that one does work. Which one was our distractor? Right over here, where we said this would mean she has more than 30 cards. So that's our distractor. Has the same terms and everything. And the other two are just incorrect because she is being given cards, not taking away cards. So A and C would be eliminated. Hit pause and jot this down. This was a ton of practice. Inequalities can be a little challenging at times, so I wanted to just really model it a few times. So get into purposeful practice, ask questions and ask for feedback from peers, and really try to talk through what you think is happening in the problem so you could try and figure out what's the challenge in it. What are you grappling with if you're really struggling with this? But I know you can do it with more and more practice. See you in the next one. Take care.